Hello, I'm Ainsley from A Mama with Trauma, and on this episode or this video, I wanted to talk about a couple things that have happened and I've noticed within myself since my last video. Just a lot of a lot of things have come up. I don't really know if I have a title for this, and I'm just kind of, I guess, talking about the things that are on my mind and trying to process them. Um, but yeah, I guess this is going to kind of be a little bit about motherhood and what I've recognized about my motherhood and how I want to move forward with the decisions and choices that I've had to make since the incident with CPS. As a reminder, this page is absolutely not a page where I am seeking vengeance or any ill will towards the people who have harmed me, caused me harm, any of that. That's not what this page is at all. It's simply just me coming on here and being honest and maybe even wanting to say some things that could be confirming to some people out there who might need to hear things from a mom who is in my position, and maybe I'm making choices that they wish that their mom had made, and I don't know, just kind of validate some things. So, with that being said, I am going to start this conversation. First off, I got a subscriber, and I'm really sorry if I pronounce your name incorrectly. I don't know. I think it's Catherine. I'm really sorry if I have pronounced it incorrectly, but you subscribed to my page and you were my first subscriber. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for taking a chance and coming on here and, yeah, just taking a chance. I really appreciate that. I also did get some feedback from a gentleman from India. I don't even know if it was a real person or not, but they said that my videos were nice, but that I was speaking kind of slowly, or I was taking my time. Initially, I was in my feelings about that. However, after I thought about that, I recognized, like, I'm just going to take that feedback and I am going to apply that to my videos. I recognize that I do have a tendency to speak slowly. That's because I'm so guarded about my words and how they sound and the shape of them when they're coming out of my body. Uh, they Me speaking is something that takes a lot of energy out of me, and I usually end up sleeping for like 2 hours after I make these videos, because bearing my feelings and perspective on things is something I've never really been free to do, or had the my own body and mindset weren't even connected to where I could articulate any of this stuff. So those two people, thank you for, excuse me, thank you so much for just being over on my page. Got a little sidetracked. But yes, so the last time I came on here, I talked about my motherhood and CPS not mixing. And there has been a lot of things that have happened in my life. So a couple weeks ago, I spoke about how my husband and I got into a huge argument, and our child was in kind of, it was domestic violence, and our child kind of she got knocked over. She wasn't harmed or anything like that, but still, I spoke to my therapist, and CPS got involved, and we had people come out multiple times and all of that. And because of that, my conclusion was I saw myself. I saw myself for who I was and the decisions that I was making. And I recognized that I had to own up my responsibility in what I was doing and the example I was setting for my child. And I had a conversation with my husband, and I decided that for me, like, the relationship just isn't work, like, it's done. And that was a lot. It took a lot for me to say that because I grew up in a space where relationships and how long you've been together with somebody was like the meat and potatoes. It wasn't actually the relationship, like communication and your emotional level and sharing like difficulties and holding space for one another and being able to fall apart and to just, all those things. I think that I would want a healthy relationship to be just like to be able to be in a space with to be in a space with a person who is also, their own separate person, and just kind of like figure life out. I was very naive in that when I entered this relationship and I had all these expectations and ideas, albeit good ones. I just didn't know how to I just didn't know how to execute those, and I didn't know how to communicate very well. And at the end of the day, I just have to accept that, the relationship's over with. And I have a lot of trauma and grief and sorrow that I'm going to need to process. We are amicable right now. We are still residing in the same space, but still separate. Like, someone's downstairs, someone's upstairs, and working together, learning slowly how to work together, for the sake of our kiddo, and to keep our personal issues at bay. And that's really tricky because ultimately, like, in my feelings, I'm like, I want you gone. I want you gone right now. But I also have recognized that sometimes we don't get what we think we want. And with him still being here, I have had to work at shifting my attitude and perspective to, okay, he's here, so what lessons am I going to learn during this time? How am I going to slowly work on myself and pulling away and stepping out of this relationship while still being in the same household? And it's a lot of work. It just is. And there's so much energy that has to go in, like, with catching myself to not fall back into familiar conversations or tones or something like that. Like, having to have this resolve of like, no, this between you and I it no longer exists. It's no longer a thing. And it's taken a lot to get to that point. I think initially it was really hard on our kid, and she's very confused, as would any child be if they were in this situation. But as her mom, I'm recognizing that I have to trust my kid. I have to trust my kid's abilities and trust that she's durable, instead of like this trying to think she's this frail thing that I've got to hold and protect and keep safe. And that parenting on my end is there are bumps and bruises and scrapes that happen along the way, emotionally, but that those things kind of shape you as a person. I can't keep my child in bubble wrap emotionally or mentally, or physically. Like, it's just impossible. And I recognize I have been doing a lot of trying to keep my kids safe with my motherhood, and how I use up so much time and energy trying to focus on that. And this experience I think led me to a point of recognizing at some point in my life, I have to not give everything to my child, because if I give everything, I gave everything to the relationship with my husband, and I gave everything that I have to my child. I gave everything that I had to my mother. I have been giving so much of myself to the ones that I love. And this whole situation has finally got a hold of me and said, are you going to listen and stop giving so much to others and give to yourself? And that is such a difficult thing to hold, um and not feel shame about that, and recognizing that initially, like, how dare I try to think about myself, when I've got a kid, or um parents, older parents, or stuff like that. Like, I guess there's just a mindset that was indoctrinated so much of this others focused. And now I recognize, like, doing that and acting that way has it's changed. I'm starting to see me as a person, and that, hey, I really do need to press in and care and get to know this person first and foremost, because my child will get older and move and live on her own. Like, friends will come and go. I can't even speak to being in, like, any other type of relationship. Just, like, recognizing that at the very end of the day, I'm the only one that has me. And I don't mean that in, like, I mean that in just strict facts. I don't think of, like, a sense of arrogance. I'm not thinking in a sense of arrogance, or like my ego, or anything like that. I'm just thinking in the sense of, like, no, I actually, as a person, at the very end of the day, I am the only person that I have. And all my thoughts and feelings and emotions and traumas and triggers and un unmet dreams, or dashed expectations and hopes. I have all of that's what I have. And now recognizing that what I am left with at this point is something that is just heartbreaking and sad, and I want to change that. I don't want to spend the next 40 years of my life in this space of just, like, re- repeating this thing. And I say that, and it just brought to mind how the other day, my my kid was eating some cookies or something, and there weren't any cookies left, and it was literally just the crumbs in the bag, and she was eating, trying to eat the crumbs, and next to her was a very beautiful fresh apple. It's a Macintosh, and you can fight me on this, but Macintosh and Granny Smith are the only apples. That's it. Um, but I looked at her, and as I was driving, I was like, Iris, why are you why are you eating crumbs? You have a whole beautiful apple right there. Like, eat the apple. It's the whole apple. And as I said that, something inside of me was like, are you hearing what you're telling your daughter? You're telling her not to eat the crumbs, or just accept the crumbs. And eyes welled up, and I was like, oh, whoa, this just became so much more to me than just food. And I said it out loud. I was like, I deserve more than crumbs. I deserve more than crumbs in this life. And even now saying that, like, I'm getting choked up. And to have waited this long to recognize that that's what I've been accepting from people, um and like surviving off of that, is it's heartbreaking, but it's also allows me the sense of like, but there's hope for a future. Like, I can truly, in my own self, with my own gifts and talents and abilities, I can start to turn towards that apple. I can start to appreciate something healthier, something that will instill vitality and a healthy lifestyle and help me heal even more. And I looked at her and I touched her cheek and I was like, Iris, you do not deserve crumbs. You don't deserve crumbs from cookies. You do not deserve crumbs from relationships, from your friends, from your mom and your dad. You do not deserve crumbs from the world. You deserve a beautiful, full apple that will help you be strong and be able to do many things. And I guess I just want to send that message out to all the daughters and maybe even the moms out there who never heard that or can't struggle to find that with for themselves. If you can allow, as a mom, if you can allow your child's love to pull you into a space of recognizing worth, like your child looking at you and seeing your worth, and not using your child for anything but using the natural love that exists between the parent and the child as a huge tool and a huge catalyst to move you in the direction of bettering yourself and finding your value and being able to say, I'm giving everything for this motherhood, but some of this I can hold back for myself and make the tough changes and choices. I can hold some of this back for myself, and my kid will not love me any less. And if anything, I will learn to love my kid more. And the relationship will change, and that will add so much more hues and depths and tones to a relationship that and this point where I'm sitting, I'm just hopeful. I'm hopeful for that, and I don't know what that will look like or anything like that, but yeah, I just wanted to come on here and share that had been something I've been thinking about a lot today. And I'm not even sure if it doesn't matter. Thank you if you came over here and watched this. Thank you. Excuse me. I appreciate you very much. Again, I am Ainsley from A Mama with Trauma, and thank you for stopping by. I'll see you next time.